Mold binders. Binders you can use to help get mold out of your body. Hi, I'm Megan. I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner and functional blood chemistry specialist, and our practice works with a lot of people who have mold, and here are some binders that you can start using when it comes to getting mold out of your body. But I also want to talk a little bit about each one a little bit, how to use it, some precautions, and how we use these in our practice. And I will say, if you are going to start on a binder, I also highly recommend starting on some sort of liver detox pathway support. And this can look like a lot of different things. This can be supplements, this can just be lifestyle things. I have a whole playlist on liver detox pathway support. Check it out. For mold specifically, I really like castor oil packs from a lifestyle perspective. Start really short. Start with like 10 or 15 minutes, 2 or 3 times a week, not 2 days in a row. Heat can be a huge trigger for histamine-related symptoms and flares with mold, so I typically don't recommend like a sauna or Epsom salt baths. Even dry brushing can be a little inflammatory at times for some different people. And then from a supplement perspective, this is going to vary. I do really like a product called Tedka, although this can be very strong when starting off with mold. Sometimes just the castor oil packs will make a really big difference. So binders. So the first one is charcoal, and this is commonly activated charcoal, and there's lots of ones on the market. Generally speaking, they're all pretty similar. And charcoal's a very entry-level binder. It's going to bind up a variety of things, including mold. I'm also going to throw clays into kind of this entry-level category, and this could be zeolite or bentonite clay. And one thing that's really important to understand about charcoals and clays is they are non-selective binders, meaning they will bind up to anything and everything in the body. Mold definitely being one, but also food and other supplements and medications. So they need to be taken away from everything. At least an hour, if not 2 hours. I'll say usually 2 hours after a meal or a supplement or a medication is general recommendation. You can do 30 to 60 minutes before a meal. It seems like that is okay, but really make sure you are not taking any of these with other products, because it will bind up all of these other things: food, medication, supplements. But those are good entry-level binders. You are less likely to have major reactions to these ones. The next one is going to be fulvic or humic acid. And this is one of my favorite things. This is the first mold binder that we use in our practice. This is a really great binder just across the board. The other reason we really like to use this for mold, one, it's going to get a variety of different mold strands. But two, it's a selective binder, meaning it's not going to bind up and everything else in your body. It has also been shown to help with nutrient absorption. And if you have mold illness or mold toxicity, you know getting all of your nutrients is a real struggle here. So that's a really big reason why we like it. So we use that quite a bit as the first mold binder. Now, it's not the first binder we use, but it's the first mold binder we often use after we do some prep work for the body. You can also do a combination binder. We'll often use this in a secondary mold protocol if we need it after some fulvic and humic acid. This is something like GI detox. It is a really common one that we'll use, and this is a variety of different types of binders. Now, this is a non-selective binder, and so this does need to be taken away from everything once again. Certain probiotics are actually known to help bind up mold, and specifically the one that we use in our practice a lot, there's a lot of really great research around it, is Saccharomyces boulardii. And so this can help with some gut issues. Especially, we'll usually start with some other binders and do some killing in the gut, and this can be a really great secondary protocol to help start rebuilding the gut a little bit and also continue to help bind up the mold. Also, there's bile thinning products that can be very helpful, because bile, which is produced in our liver, stored in our gallbladder, and helps break down fats. Bile is recirculated in our body, and bile holds on to mold and can recirculate the mold, which can be a really big issue when we're trying to detox. So something that thins the bile has been shown to be very effective in being an assist to bind. I won't say a direct mold binder, but an assist in the process. And so the one that we like to use often is called phosphatidylcholine. It's a really great product that we use, and there's a couple companies that have really good ones. And then the last one is chlorella. Now, I will say we don't often use chlorella in our practice for mold specifically. Yes, it can help bind up mold. However, it appears from all of the research that chlorella does a much better job at binding up heavy metals than it does with mold. It is also a non-selective binder, so it will bind up anything and everything and needs to be taken away from everything as well. So there's an overview when it comes to mold binders. If you are struggling with mold and need some help and support in just figuring out where to even start in the healing process, be sure to book your free consult with us. There's a link in our bio.